Futureproof by Linda Radley.
Starving. What's for tea?
I think there's a little horse meat left.
Oh, not horse. Been dreaming about Pop Blackie. Can still see his big brown eyes.
I can make you another sugar sandwich. You like those?
Say a prayer for the teeth I have left.
It's not just him who's hungry, you know.
I'm aware, Countess. So why don't you all continue to set things up here, while I go into town and see if I can't fatten the feast?
No more bread and cheese, huh? Try and get some fruit or something.
For you, Countess, I'll do my best. And in the meantime...
A snack for Tiny.
Thanks, boss.
Don't be long.
You're sighing, sister.
Am I, Pastor? It's not we're here again, trying to make something out of nothing. No doubt they'll all complain.
No doubt.
Once I've eaten something,
Yes, once we eat something, however small.
however small, things will seem better.
You can have this evening if you like.
No, we agreed. You shouldn't.
As a treat. I don't mind.
Well, if you're sure.
Sure, I'm sure.
To bed after dinner then.
Bed is your choice.
I'm tired.
You wouldn't rather sew or look at magazines or take a walk?
I have a headache, and we've been walking all day.
To bed after dinner then. I'll read.
But keep the lamp low.
Yes. Perhaps a walk up. Perhaps a walk tomorrow?
Ladies,
Thanks.
Thanks, Jimmy. You're very kind.
welcome, Millie. Miss Lily.
Can I get one of those? You spoil those two, you know.
And me. I'm parched.
Yes, yes. Come in, come in.
It must be a bad headache.
Well, given the way things are.
Still, there's more to your sighing than that, though. Of course, you needn't say.
We do have two heads, you know.
I can't help sensing things.
We at least have that. I'm thinking about that man, the one town back.
The one who wanted to see us in our scanty?
No! No! The one who came every day and stood at the back.
Him? I think he liked you, though.
How do you know?
You would close one eye when you looked.
I'm ruined.
You! You're always complaining. We pushed as well, you know. We crew now too.
It's not the same. Think of the cost.
Don't worry, you're still fat.
Yes, but for how long? And how fat? Fat enough? Stunningly fat? Gloriously fat? Or just slightly larger than them?
Thanks, you're a darling. What do you think, Georgina? Is Tiny fat enough?
Yes. Still sufficiently fat.
Sufficiently? Sufficiently?
Besides, Mr. Riley says it's not the act, it's the tale that gets told.
Well, he would think that, wouldn't he?
Look, this is serious. What would you do if I could make you one thing or the other?
Well, don't know, would...
Or you, Marquita, if I shaved off your beard? Or grew you some arms?
Either way, I'd still have an act, eh? That's the beauty of being twofold.
And if I were to do both?
But I've made the most of it. Probably. Find a nice rich man and have babies. Something like that.
Well, that's hardly out of the question even now. You've never been short of admirers. Regardless.
Yes, imagine! Regardless. What's the face?
Who? Fish face?
Shh.
What? Cod breath? Eli? Crab cake?
She's harmless. A little strange, maybe.
Pure pretense. It makes me heart sore to think we stooped so low.
I'm not a real countess, and you're not the fattest man in the world, but we don't tell them that.
It's not about them. It's about what we know to be true. And there's a code to that. And that code's been around longer than you've been alive. First, reels, like you, on top. Then maids, like me, following close behind. Then gaffs. Fakers who give us all a bad name but at least try to appear the genuine oddity. Lastly, novelty acts, like her, firmly at the bottom of the barrel. Miss Serena doesn't live it. Time was that was a sin in the shows. Time was when Mr. Riley would have had nothing to do with it.
True, but she is different. You can't deny it.
Different. Hardly. One like her in every town.
The act is pretty though. They like it. She's keeping us in bread and cheese at least.
Novelties are for children and the simple-minded.
Well, at least it's something. What is the point of standing up there if there's none to look and none to pay? You worry about shrinking the billing when there might not be a billing at all.
Perhaps a nap will put me in a better mood.
Yes. Sleep it off, fatso. Maybe you'll bring back a pie. Oh no, what happened?
It's alright, it's alright. Slipped in the ditch. It's nothing.
It's not nothing. You're bleeding.
I'm fine. No need to worry.
You sure?
False alarm. I'm fine. We're fine.
What's it like?
Small town. Village, really. Should be alright, and no law against us.
That's a relief.
This is fetting in the face.
Lily.
I'm sure you're managing always, Miss Lily. Important to keep spirits up. I thought we agreed.
Any money to be seen?
Same as everywhere else. Not too clever though, these townies. Could see a few pockets left wide open, right for the picking. A less moral man than myself might have had a field day, but then we couldn't stay, and I think we will, for a while. Now, don't worry about food for me. I met a business acquaintance in town, and he very kindly...
Fish! It's beautiful. Look, G, a fish.
Well done. Where did you get that from?
Do we have to tell Tiny?
He probably smells it already.
She's a bit of an obscurity, that one.
More than a bit, boss.
Team player, though, it has to be said. We should send her out with a pole more often.
Who did this?
Nobody. I told you. I slipped in the ditch. I was absorbed in how to best solve our current cash flow problems, and I lost my footing. Some young men from the town. They must have had me marked, called me a carny and threw a few stones with surprising accuracy. They laughed when I fell over and...
What?
Doesn't matter. I'd rather not dwell. Made off with a bag of apples. That's the worst part.
Still, you want to stay?
We can't run away every time someone throws stones. Not now. And there were no more than boys, really. Hungry more than anything. How was morale in my absence?
All right. Twins needling each other about something. Tiny's worried about the breach of code that Miss Serena's act signified.
The fish will fix that.
For a while. And also about getting smaller.
Ah.
Even asked what Marquita would do if someone made her unstrange, or Georgina, if could be one thing or the other.
And what did you say?
Can't be done, can it? Besides, Tiny's still within critical mass. He's prone to exaggeration.
A fat man's curse. You must have thought about it, though. How it would be.
Certainly. When the fairness first appeared, puberty, would have given anything. Even tried pretending. Always found out, though, one way or another, people could never forgive. Men crack a rib or two, women go silent, even mothers. Though, there's nothing can be done.
You as a girl alone.
Examined. Like livestock by thick-fingered men. Sized up in terms of hips and acreage. Married off to the highest bidder. All a lottery. Better to be looked at and paid at least. Oh well, paid in theory anyway. Sorry. Was thinking that what it comes down to is a way to make it alright for them to look again. And not just in places like this, but in the big towns too. When they can bring themselves to look, they like it, or at least it stirs them. Sorry, boss. Don't mean to overstep.
No. You're right. You're right. Maybe Tiny has a point after all, eh?
Tiny. It was only hunger talking.
I don't know. It's their shame that smarts, yet we're the ones who feel it. If there was a way to solve that. Have you had anything to eat?
No. Not yet.
Well, why don't you go and get something while you still have a chance? Go on. I have a little thinking I'd like to get done before bedtime.
Yes, boss. Good night.
No show!
Oh, not again.
He's cancelled it. And I have to read this out to you all.
What is it?
What does it look like?
She wants to know if we have to practice. Is that right? Practice?
For most of us, I think you'll find practice is unnecessary. Now, you are to sit around, and I'm to read this. Slowly, deliberately, and aloud.
Don't be silly, just tell us what it says.
I don't know, do I?
As if he didn't make you rehearse it.
Slowly, deliberately, and aloud.
All I know is he was up all night writing, and he wouldn't tell me anything about it.
Up all night?
Go on then. Read. Read, go on.
My dear family, forgive me for passing on this great news.
Great news.
Do you want to hear what the man has to say or not?
Excuse me, Tiny, but I think G should read this.
What?
Georgina, you can do Caller's voice, can't you?
Don't know.
I've heard you talking to yourself. Come on.
It could only be an improvement.
What's that supposed to mean?
I agree.
Forgive me for passing on this great news in such impersonal fashion, but I have decided to become an elective mute for 2 hours each day for the sake of an overworked voice.
Dickhead.
Hear what I have to say though. Through Tiny, who is most kind.
Through Tiny, who's been usurped by a half and half.
You're doing great. Keep going.
The townies are staying away. Even in this new location, we cannot draw a crowd. I know that I have hidden it well, but for some time I have been gravely worried. Our enterprise has been in financial distress.
Distress? He thinks we haven't noticed.
I can no longer ignore the simple truth that tastes have changed. It seems the only part of our repertoire that whets their appetite is the mermaid show, despite the obvious mechanism of smoke and mirror system. No offence to Miss Serena, of course, who performs it wonderfully and has been saving our bacon, so to speak.
Bacon.
Understand it? I do not. Those of you who were once seen as God's marvels are now viewed as nature's aberrations. Only hope that Mr.
Darwin.
Yes, I know that. Darwin is proud of himself and his questionable theories.
Yes? Yes?
Long bit about Darwin.
Skip it, please. Evolution.
But fear not, family. An idea has arrived. I have been inspired by a man I met years ago who was both a giant and a dwarf in his lifetime. At age 21, he stood just 3 feet 10 and 1/2 inch tall. By the time of his death, he was 7 feet 11.
Oh yes, I remember him. Nice man. Very ugly.
Like him, what we will provide is an
Alternative view of the world, a spectacle of hope, a defiance of science. Something that demonstrates the ability of the human spirit to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Sorry.
Isn't that the point, as things are?
I can speak 5 languages. Or so I've been told.
something authentic, but still to their taste. It's simple. My wonders. You have to
Yes?
change.
What?
Change, alter, adjust. Embrace amendment towards the norm. In doing so, you will fascinate. In short, you must transform. Sincerely, etc. Robert P. Riley, Esquire.
There's got to be another way.
There isn't. This is it.
But you're asking us to become...
I know, and it's not an easy thing for me to ask either, I assure you. We'll start with you.
Me?
To give the others courage. Start with the main attraction. Blaze a trail. Especially as we can be certain that you possess the requisite willpower. You proved that when all this started.
Well, that was a long time ago, boss.
Plumper, friendlier times, were they not? Dempsey's sideshow. You were standing beside me for such an age that I thought you worked there. And then you said out loud, like you were talking to yourself, what was it again?
Bet you could make a lot of money in a place like this.
Exactly that. The bill was a pinhead, the human blister,
Jojo, the dog-faced boy.
and
Happy Humphrey.
the star.
He was so big there was nowhere else to look. A face the size of a dinner plate.
His little mouth almost lost within, tiny pearly whites peeking out in the serenest of smiles. I remember thinking it would be impossible for those teeth to chew all the food
It
required.
just seemed like he was soaking all the looking up, growing fatter off our stares as we stood there. I multiplied the amount of money I paid to get in by the amount of people I counted, and added that to an estimate of how much they were spending once they were inside.
And you deduced that it wasn't the looking he was living off, but the charge for the privilege.
When you said that you were to inherit a similar outfit, it seemed like fate.
I'm sure it must have been boring. Me going on and on about how I was going to be my own man, modernise my father's business.
Just give them genuine wonders and nothing else. No cons, no blow-offs, no gaffes, no novelty acts, just marvels. Robert Riley's Auditorium. I was gripped,
And when you said that you wanted to work for me, this amateur boxer, a little soft round the middle, but still pretty svelte, I thought you meant on crew.
I had discipline. I had stamina. Once I set my mind to something.
Exactly. Stamina. Discipline. When you came back, I didn't know you. This colossus. Just sitting there eating 3 steak dinners and waiting for me, while a commotion of gaping raged all around. And you said, now let me get this right.
I just ate and ate and got fatter and fatter.
Brilliant. My first star. Well, my friend, it's time to repeat history. Only in reverse. I mean, let's face it, you've already made a start.
I think it's fair to say that gaining is easier than losing, boss.
Nonsense. Not to a perfectionist such as yourself.
But even if I did manage to do it, why would anyone care? Why would they want to gape then? I'd be run of the mill.
Why? Imagine this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there stands before you now a man who is quite literally half the man he used to be, a credit to human powers of will and determination, someone who has transformed himself from a sideshow fat man, flabby and ungainly, taking up far more than his fair share of space and air, now renovated through sheer power of grit, hard work and self-sacrifice into a person you can be proud to look at. A person just like you. Etc., etc. It needs work, obviously, but they'll lap it up. Don't you see?
I do. I'm not sure I like it.
Let me reassure you, my friend. You are never again going to be the man I met at a rarity show. That man who was looking for his purpose in life. No matter how much you lose, he's not who we're selling. The merchandise is 2 other Tinies. The one that is now, and the one that will be. Don't you see? That's the hook. That's the thing Townies will want to see. The difference. Now, take out your timepieces, gentlemen, because I am about to prove that she can remain underwater for a very, very long time.
You could at least give him a tomato.
Have my orders. Boss made them very clear.
Poor Tiny.
I think it's funny. Well, we all have to starve for his sake.
Not for his sake, for all our sakes. He dislikes onions. Gee, did you hear me?
Yes, Millie, dear. Nothing but lettuce here. Plenty of other things to do, you know.
Sorry. It's not your fault.
I wish you could relax for once. We've got no chores to do, no act to perform, and you can't even take it easy.
We've got nothing to do.
Exactly.
You don't get it, do you? We've lost our place, Lil.
I wasn't the one putting butter on Tiny's bread. I wasn't the one giving him bread to begin with.
He looked pale. I couldn't help it.
Mmm. Mmm. Mmm.
Makita, a cake.
I've got to do something to keep myself amused, now that I'm redundant.
Wasting your time. He's a man possessed.
The incredible shrinking man. I have to admit, I didn't think he had it in him.
Where'd you get the flour from?
Would you like a slice? It's very good. Buttercream filling.
I'm not hungry.
Of course you are. Can't remember the last time we had cake.
Can't remember the last time you had flour.
I found a lucky coin. I just thought we needed cheering up, that's all. Was I wrong?
No!
But you baked it for Tiny.
Wouldn't the sight of him eating it have cheered you up? Well then.
Have a slice of cake, Millie. It'll make us feel better.
So, ladies and Lady Gent. Serena's the only one on show. Riley refuses to talk about anything but his new way, and Tiny seems to have found a will of iron. Where does that leave us?
Stuck.
Not necessary.
What are you going to do, Lily? Go on as a solo sleeping beauty?
No. But we can make a gesture. Something small, just to keep Riley happy.
I don't think I can keep going like this, doing nothing while Tiny's disappearing in front of me. I'll go mad.
Not you as well.
Much as I hate to admit it, there is something strangely appealing about watching Tiny shrivel. They'd hate to become a relic.
What do you think, Jane? You're very quiet.
If there was something that could be done, would do it. If boss asked. But what gesture can Georgina make?
Different for you. You're Riley's right hand. Not going to cut you off, so to speak, is he?
Don't know how it's going to be done, but think we owe it to him to try and do it. Do know one thing. If boss thinks there's a way to keep us together, then better to believe him than to fight him. Because there's almost nothing in the safe. And Tonys don't want us anymore. At least, not as we are.
Thank you for coming. You're the only one I can trust not to make a fuss. Besides, everyone's so busy now that Tiny's showing again. I'm not sure they'd have time for me. You? Well, you can't talk full stop. And once I've made up my mind, that's it. Only part of my father that I got. My pride and show. Let's get it over with. Look, either you do it or I do it myself. And I prefer not to have a face cut to ribbons. Must be frustrating to write everything down. I don't think I could stand it. Have you always been mute? Ah, you were made then, an accident. I see. I'm prying. All right. What should I talk about? Riley? Why him? It's a long story. A sad story. A story with secrets. When I was a very young woman, a child was born to me. A daughter. I've been on the road for only 1 year. I met a man. A strong man. I thought my baby would come out strong. She was hairy, like me. She had hands. Strongman hands. She died. Well, she never breathed at all. The people I worked for wanted me to put her in a jar, pickled, and let the townies peep. I said no. I asked a priest to bury her, to baptize her. He refused. I went to the churchyard at night. I said to the strong man, dig me a grave, that is all I will ever ask of you. And he put her in the ground. I travelled further. I went to the city and I met Riley. Before, they dressed me as a wild woman and made me speak gibberish. Called me the missing link, the knot that ties humans to apes. But Riley gave me good clothes to wear and called me Countess. Said that a blue blood with hair on her face would mean more. We could charge twice the price, as I was twice as blessed. Blessed, he said. For years we made money together. You know I like you, but I don't understand what you're doing here. Don't you know we're dying? I think even if you could talk, you wouldn't say a word. Sometimes there are men that want to see me alone. They slip a note or give a nod or buy a present. Sometimes I do that. It's not, I never, mainly they just want a closer look. At the shows they can see only one thing or the other. They see I have no hands. They see I have a beard. They see I have no hands and back again. But alone, with less clothes, they can take in the whole, and they glaze over like the fish you caught. In their heads, they bring along wives or women they've seen in magazines or in dreams. But after they leave, when they close their eyes, they can see only me. And they pay for the privilege. A few towns back, one wanted to give me more. Said I could go with him. Settle down. I thought I should. I could no longer stand the struggle. It's not that simple. A long time ago, Riley had a wife. A mother too. Mother was a legless wonder. Wife a tattooed lady. They didn't get along. Jealousies, the billing. His mother got a better offer somewhere else, and his wife ran off with a lion tamer. And Riley got smaller. I couldn't stand to see it. In the end, the show is all he has. It's how we look after him. Old. I can always grow it back.
How's your book?
Excellent. Thank you, Jean. Have you seen Marquita at all today?
No. Probably wants time alone. Should check.
No, it's a free country. Well, if you don't mind, I'm just getting to an exciting bit, so...
May I present to you all the brand new Tiny!
Woo! It's loud.
Yes. I haven't heard hollers like that in so long. It's almost frightening.
All I'm saying is that it's not fair.
Ah. Not finished this yet. Trust Mr. Riley, yes?
Yes, of course.
Well then, trust that he knows what he's doing.
As far as I can see, he's not doing anything.
Millie?
Sorry. I can't see it, that's all. Tiny's one thing, but the rest of us aren't made. We're reals. Never known anything else. And we can't exactly be unrealed, can we? Trusting Mr. Riley isn't going to change that.
The point is that you have to try. The show will be worked out in time. Millie doesn't need to see it. Georgina doesn't even need to see it. Boss sees it. Rather go back to the way things were. To the no hope.
No.
Well then.
Do you see it?
Think so?
Really?
No, not completely. But that doesn't matter. It's not the act, it's the tale that...
Yeah. Lily and me are both bottom of the pile now, just because we're more complicated than others.
Not bottom of the pile. Don't be silly. And no more complicated than all.
Well, that's a matter of debate.
Is it?
Shh! Do you mind? I am trying to concentrate.
Sorry for living.
Give it a rest. What does she say?
It's a private note.
Okay then, bye. Millie is such a scaredy cat.
Scared of what?
Everything is different. She hates being idle. We've been on the stage since we could talk.
Careful, Lily. You're impatient like me. But remember, once harsh words said or feeling felt can't be undone. Need to weigh up your options. Do what's best for both of you.
Options? What options do we have? Could we become a pair of secretaries? Oh wait, I can't.
You could do things together. Together, you're extraordinary.
And unwanted. I think we should stop. You're upsetting me.
Okay, Miss Lily, something up?
I'm fine.
Sorry. We'll ask something else. How come Lily can read, you can't?
We had an owner. He bought us from our mother. He tried to teach us. For me, the words danced. I was bored, so I danced. And Millie learned.
I see. Very sad.
But Mr. Riley found us. I like how I can talk to you. And Millie doesn't understand. Maybe that can be part of our new act.
I taught you so you could talk to me and you could understand me, not for some act.
Besides, Millie watches. She understands some things.
She's afraid I like you better. It makes us shiver.
I'm sorry. I don't want to be sidelined, that's all.
We'll speak to Riley. Ask some questions, if that would help.
You're a good friend, G.
I would be sad if you left. That's all.
Amazing, my friend. Amazing. My favourite was the pudding woman who asked for the secrets to your success. Extraordinary. You're heroic. Actually heroic. I've never seen anything like it.
Personally, I like the woman who wanted a recipe book.
Short book.
Excuse me?
Nothing.
Yes. Well, I don't know what you're all looking so glum for. Everyone is getting paid this month.
Really?
Proportionately, of course. Well, considering the difference in effort being exerted, I think that's only fair.
What about the code?
I'm sorry, Georgina, I have a question.
Equal wages. Your idea. Paid the same with the top of the billing or the bottom.
But these are unusual circumstances, are they not?
Yes, but we...
Unless, of course, you'd rather we went back to no wages at all. No time. Your public awaits. Well, I think it's safe to say their time is public now.
Excuse me, but isn't there supposed to be a meal for me? I mean, I don't wish to...
Going as fast as possible.
I see. Well, I think I'll do some skipping while I'm waiting then. Maybe a few press-ups.
Good idea.
We're getting paid.
Proportionately.
Yes, but still, you need a new book and we can get some ribbon maybe.
I'd like that.
Well, girls, what do you think?
It's beautiful. You're beautiful.
And so, what I'm proposing is a gradual fading out of the Mermaid Act over the next few days, alongside the public unveiling of the new Countess and, well, something big I've got planned for later. I'm going to increase the number of shows Tiny is doing and play up the suspense of what might be about to happen between the two of them. It's a surprise. A marvellous surprise. All right, you wore me down. It's a wedding. The ultimate distraction. My fear is that your act lacks the sincerity now demanded by our new style. But of course we wouldn't want to lose you. I'm not the kind of man to disregard all that you've done for us. Well, and this is somewhat delicate, the Countess is eventually going to need hands of some sort, and I'm looking into it. But in the meantime, I wondered if you wouldn't mind filling in, helping her with day-to-day tasks. The shaving, seeing as you've already done such a good job there, and whatever else needs doing. It wasn't necessary in the past, I grant you, but you see, it's all part of her transformation. All very well looking like a feminine beardless creature, but she's going to have to start wearing shoes. Feet, apparently, are unseemly, and that's where you come in. Of course, you have options. If you choose to cut your losses, no harm done, and warm wishes. If you don't mind me saying so, talking to you is a bit like dropping pennies in a well. Look here. I have ground my teeth, pulled out my hair in handfuls, paced floors, and had many sleepless nights. But I've done my duty and found a solution. And it works. We are started once more. The relief. The relief. Well, you simply can't, I doubt it anyway, that you can come close to imagining the relief. Can you? Can you? Well then, will you remain? Nowhere else to go? Well, there. Always welcome here. You can start your new duties as soon as you like. May I present to you today the blushing bride and the proud groom, both of whom have taken their own lives and... No. May I present to you today the blushing bride and the handsome groom, both of whom have taken control of their individual situations and made themselves into... Awful. May I present to you today the beautiful bride and the proud groom, both of whom... What? I'm busy.
Takings, boss.
Oh, it's you. Come in.
Everything all right?
Fine. I'm just working on the speech. And I had a word with Miss Serena about her duties.
Yes. Was hearing.
Were you?
Not listening, but was counting and could hear a voice and great projection, boss. Big lungs.
And?
And?
What's the count?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Up another 20%. Selling more of Tiny's old postcards each show than in a week of before. Yesterday, the queue went the whole way around the wagon. Could easily move indoors now.
No, not yet. We have to be patient. There is still much more to be done. The trick is to perfect everyone here where it doesn't matter so much, then roll into the city with something watertight.
I see. The speech.
Don't worry, it's not finished yet.
Of course, but make a suggestion.
All input gratefully accepted. You know that.
Could maybe say something like, don't know, but maybe something to do with a union of hope. I think the townies would like it.
Go on.
May I present to you the beautiful bride and handsome groom who against all odds have come here together today in a union that should give us all hope. He who was once a sideshow fat man is now a picture of health and vitality. She who was once a bearded lady is now a picture of a feminine grace. A commoner and a countess. Their will to change has brought them together, and we all know that they will withstand whatever life may bring. Together, they will be future-proof.
Not bad. Need to tweak it a bit. Put my own stamp on it.
Learn from the best, boss.
Quite. One more thing.
Something you need?
You never really grew to like it, did you? The looking.
Not the looking. No.
You're finding this difficult? All this upheaval? Still, I was thinking, perhaps if you were to become one or the other, if you were to choose, perhaps there's a way to sell that.
Can sweep the floors, can light the fires, can boil the water, can gather the wood, can mend the wagons, can wash the clothes, can count the money, can hammer the pegs, but can never choose to be one or another. You know that too. You've not looked at Georgina in days. You know they would never clap hands for that. Not whilst underneath the bothness is there.
No, I don't think they would they? However, there may be another option. A doctor acquaintance. He's coming to look at the twins.
A doctor?
A surgeon, actually.
A surgeon? For halving?
He says there's a way to do it, leaving each with only a minor impairment. Of course, it won't be cheap, but the sooner we do it, the sooner we can recoup the cost. It's vital that we are restored to our full complement before the summer festivals. Do you think it's wrong of me? A way forward for them, I thought, but maybe you think otherwise.
No. They've been worried, arguing, asking questions. Is it dangerous?
I'll be guided by him. About your situation also, I'll ask. He may be able to help. And it wouldn't be pretending. I know that's the thing you fear.
Me, as a girl alone.
Well, or a boy. Depending. Anyway, lots to do. Yes?
Have a question.
Quickly.
Well, it's about the future. A business question, really.
Yes?
Shows have always been simple. Oddities, right there in front of them. Immediate, undeniable, right? They peep and the feeling goes straight to their senses. So often they come back again and try and feel the same. Or maybe look from a different angle.
You're teaching your granny to suck eggs.
Indeed, of course. But with these new versions of us, well, won't they lose their power over time? The further away we get from what we were, the more of a girl or boy. The thinner Tiny gets. Well, will we still be worth a gander in the future? I mean, will anyone come back for a second look?
You're failing to grasp the fundamentals. Looking is only the start. It's about telling a story, like I've always said. Only more so. How two bodies can belong to one person and what happened on the journey in between. Transformation. The difference being that the thing that captures them isn't what they see at all. It's their own potential.
But how are they going to transform? By becoming even more ordinary?
You don't think there's a merit in inspiring people? You don't think they've got a right to that? You don't see the potential? You, who have always understood this game, you don't see how much we stand to gain by turning the glass away from ourselves and on to the lookers? That's disappointing. All right, it's time for my silence. That's all then?
That's all.
You're crooked, Lil.
Am I?
You are. Your head's elsewhere.
It's not. But I'm happy to rip these stitches out if you like.
Why not just sew straight in the first place?
It's exciting, Mill. Don't you think? I think it's exciting.
Imagine marrying him, though.
Ew. Imagine him in his underwear.
No, I don't want to.
Imagine him kissing.
Stop it, Lil.
Imagine if you woke up one morning and he was lying there beside you, all fat again, and there was nothing you could do about it.
That won't happen, will it? He might roll over and smother her.
A terrible way to die. I suppose she's stuck with him now, no matter what.
I suppose so, but at least they have someone now. They won't be lonely. It might not be that bad.
She might regret it.
Nothing terrible will happen to her. Mr. Riley wouldn't let that happen, would he?
No, Mill, I don't think so. Still, we've never been to a wedding before.
That's true. There'll be crowds. I hope we're able to see.
P, we can't be bridesmaids. I'd like to stand by her side, hold her bouquet.
It's only that Mr. Riley thought there wasn't enough time to make us clothes as well, and it's been
It
a rush.
wasn't that Mill. He doesn't want the distraction.
We've tried. He can't say that we haven't. I don't know you now. Your hair. Besides, if it works, G says that Mr. Riley says there'll be a wedding in every town. Bigger and better each go around. So we could get a chance to see then.
Could be sooner rather than later. What do you think of his friend, the doctor?
I told you, I don't want to talk about it.
I'm not talking about it. I'm only asking what you thought of the doctor himself.
In what way?
As a man, Mill.
He seemed nice, full of his own importance.
I thought he was handsome.
I know you did. It was obvious.
How do you know?
I perceived a certain weakness of the knees. Felt a heart flutter. Your eyes like saucers, just like in books.
I wouldn't know, would I? It wasn't him that did that.
Was it not?
It was what he was saying. I got such a fright.
I told you, I won't.
You wouldn't even consider it?
No, maybe, I can't.
Not for even Mr. Ryan's sake. For everything he's done. Things couldn't be worse, Mill. Don't forget that. And we wouldn't be at bottom of the heap anymore. We'll trump a silly old wedding any time.
I know, but it's not about that.
You're right. It's scary.
It's not scary, Lily. It's not scary. The dark is scary. Ghosts are scary. It's more. It's much more than that.
It'll probably all come to nothing anyway. But he won't know if we don't let him have a look. It's not that you're great round my neck, Mill. I know you think I think that. I've been dragging you down.
I'm not listening. Stop it, Lily. Please, leave me be.
Just let him have a look, Mill. That's all.
I don't know you now. Your hair.
Please.
And if he looks, then what?
We'll see.
We'd have to take our clothes off in front of him.
I know.
You'd like to?
A bit.
For an earlier performance, a table was laid with cream pies to demonstrate the new Tiny's self-discipline. A sign at the table reads, "Witness his amazing self-control." The show is over and Tiny sneaks back to the pies.
Did I tell you? I got a letter today from a man, an engineer. He wants to make me arms.
He takes a napkin from his pocket and delicately places it around his neck. Then ravenously, greedily, he eats one of the pies. He almost inhales it.
He sent me some drawings. Maybe townies are better than I think they are. Do you think that? Listen to this. How astounded was I to witness the powerful change in the Countess Marquita. Poor Tiny. He's hardly mentioned at all.
Tiny picks up one of the other pies and hits himself in the face with it.
As a long-time critic of the travelling rarees show, it felt wrong to be inside the tents where once played out exploitation, blah blah blah, that bit's boring. But the transformation is astonishing, and despite my previous position, I can now completely understand why the public are in love with this extraordinary woman. Extraordinary. Good, eh?
Tiny picks up another pie and hits himself in the face with it.
Now she is the most feminine of feminine creatures. Her beautiful and fine-featured face, no longer hidden behind a bristling beard any man will be proud of, and this only serves to highlight the good breeding she's always possessed.
Tiny picks up another pie, then hits himself in the face with it.
Only her missing hands reassure you that it is the same woman, a picture postcard, all that is left of her previous incarnation as a specimen of strangeness. Not for long, Mr. Journalist. Just you wait.
All the pies are gone.
Robert Riley's show is a piece of entertainment, certainly, and soon to dazzle city audiences. But it is also more than that, and makes me think. Perhaps even the most wanton amongst us have the power to change within. Riley will be happy with that. Give it to him for me, but tell him I want it back. Thanks. You're a... Hey! You missed a bit! Did you see her?
Not for me, we didn't.
That one little girl who couldn't stop staring up at me. She thought I was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. What did she say?
She said it was She said you were beautiful. She said it was astonishing.
Stop it.
Yes, well, enough chit-chat. There's work to be done. We've introduced them to the denuded Marquita. We've told them that she's Tiny's bride-to-be. We've ordered the happy couple publicity postcards. You can imagine my shock when I learned yesterday that the groom doesn't know how to waltz.
I never had much call for dancing before, boss.
Even so, everything must be perfect for all our sakes. And so, a lesson.
For everyone.
I like that.
Why not? Should we achieve the event I've been dreaming about, there's no reason why we won't all take part. Except Miss Serena, of course, who I've asked to man the gramophone. Now, Tiny, you're in charge. And I suppose Georgina can be the leader in this trio. I'll cut in once we're established. Now, get into position by facing your partner. Or partners. If you are the man, so to speak, place your right hand on your partner's waist slightly around the back. Okay, that looks right. And then extend your left hand to your side with your elbow bent and your palm raised, facing her. With that hand, grasp your partner's right hand in a loose grip and make sure your partner has...
Boss?
Yes. Apologies. It would seem a slight adaptation is in order. Perhaps just put your left hand on her shoulder instead.
Like this?
That'll do. And you, Georgina, how about your hand on Millie's waist? Yes. And the other in Lily's hand. Excellent. Step 2. On the first beat, step forward gracefully with your left foot. Your partner should follow your lead by doing the opposite of what you do on each beat. In this case, stepping back with her right foot. Got it?
Ouch!
Sorry. It's the shoes. Can't get used to them.
Not sure, boss. Is this right?
Great. Step 3. On the second beat, step forward and to the right with your right foot. Trace an upside down letter L in the air with your foot as you do this.
A what?
What does let's have to do with dancing?
Is this going to take all night? I've had a long day, and I already know how to dance.
Step 4. Shift your weight to your right foot, keep your left foot stationary. Well, shift your weight to your right foot and keep your left foot stationary. Are you doing it or not?
It really isn't that hard if you just count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's only waltzing. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
It would appear my book is a dud.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do you enjoy it?
What?
1, 2. I've been back up there.
Of course. Only reason I agreed to all this.
1, 2, 3. Oh,
I don't know how to be myself without eyes on me. Bit of a relief to see it feels more or less the same.
but it's better, surely.
Looks are looks to me. Money is money to ride it.
No, I think there's a difference. I think we're doing more than entertaining. I think we're educating too.
Educating? About what?
About hope.
About economics and novelties. Well, aren't you and I the biggest novelty act of them all?
You're a very cynical fiancé.
You! Better to think of me as your leading lady, don't you think? Like an actor. So there's no confusion. Now, are you in charge, or am I? Ow!
Sorry.
You have to wind it. Wind the handle. Are you simple, after all? The handle. Must I do everything myself?
Nothing. Dancing. Yes. So, you taught me to sign. Before that, I wouldn't have thought to whisper. You're as bad as Millie. Telling me you feel my feelings. Telling me you think my thoughts. You ran away with a travelling show. Big deal. Do you know what it's like to dream that you are free, then wake up attached to someone? Do you know what it's like to start to hate your own sister?
Is something the matter, Lil?
Mind your own business, Mill.
Miss Serena, I think you should stop.
No, you don't, because you're not like us. You're not one of us. You're not even real. You're just a townie who can't talk. And I wish you never taught me to understand you.
We passed out. Do you remember? Doesn't want to see you. We all don't want you anymore. You're not one of us. Surplus to requirement. Have some money and a map to town. He wrote you something. Well, wait till you're gone. Thank you for your time. Best way to understand it, Boss said it. It's the best way for them to see. What? Must be getting back. Oh, should read this. What Mr. Riley wrote. Boss said to. Have a fish knife in my pocket. Just so you know. Just, please, go. Just go. Don't want you anymore. Never wanted you. know who you are!
You sound like him! He's changing you. Already. You've been sewing dresses. Secretly. Haven't you? Blinded to your beauty. Looking at me. Now. I'm glad I won't have to see it happen.
Where will you go?
Back to the sea.
Are you alright? Is she gone? Did she cry?
Not to speak of it.
It's only me, G.
Still, I would rather not. It was a lot for him to ask Georgina. Frightening to be alone.
Poor G. Glad she's gone. Lily's dreaming.
It's just a dream. Doesn't mean anything.
When she dreams, she says she has a body of her own. I think that's why she likes dreaming so much.
She's just restless. Not your fault.
But of course it is. Do you think we should do it?
Well, it's there now. An option. And if it's what Riley sees... But no. I think you should do what you want, Millie. Isn't something you can do for him? I never thought I would say that. But he doesn't have to live with the results.
That's the thing, isn't it? Lily says yes, yes, yes. She's my sister and I don't want to deny her something that she wants so much. But I've never been alone. I've never been anywhere she hasn't been. Never heard anything she hasn't heard. When she dies, I'll die. To me, that's a comfort. Sometimes I think I'm a very old lady attached to a very young girl. Would you do it, G? If there was an operation to change you?
Doctor says there might be, yet. Wait and see. He's pondering on it. He measured with a ruler.
He used that thing on us as well. Horrible feeling. Up against our skin. Did he draw big black lines on you too?
He took out his pen. He didn't know where to start.
Will you?
Can't decide. Wanted to at first, but now I feel torn by the thought of it. What would Georgina be then?
It's just a name, G.
I've been thinking today, remembering about Mother. How when she was first pregnant, she went to see a show. Didn't tell Father. There was a caller there, and he said that the lobster-clawed woman was lobster-clawed because her mother had lobster cravings while she was expecting. Talked about Merrick too, and even Mother knew who that was. And this caller said it was common knowledge that Merrick's mother had been frightened by a circus elephant. And that's why she gave birth to the elephant man. Now, Mother took this as a warning. Never ate coal or pickles or anything else out of the ordinary, no matter how much she craved. She stayed in for the fear of seeing something, anything that might make an impression. Eventually, she had to tell Father because he found her weeping with fear. Of course, he said, "It's just a commoner's trick and not to be so foolish." And when this ordinary little girl was born, she was inclined to agree. It became a family joke. But later, when she realised that her ordinary girl was actually a little bit of both, and neither of either, she was heard to mutter that she never could make up her mind whether she wanted a boy or a girl. That's why Georgina joined the shows. Not because the caller was telling Mother anything more than a tale, but because the caller captured her imagination more than anything before or since. Couldn't have own life anymore, but could at least play a part in something as powerful as that. And that's what Riley loves too. But now, Millie, it feels like he's asking Georgina to go back to being a scared person who was once stripped of clothes in a barn and beaten by boys from the village. He's asking Georgina to stand beside at the same time and point.
Are they?
Georgina is sleeping.
We see their dream.
Riley, as a cartoon version of himself, is dressed as a magician, and Lily and Millie are with him as his lovely assistants.
Riley is talking exaggeratedly, his mouth opening and closing, contorting quickly in showman talk, but producing a deafening silence.
He is gesturing wildly, the big gestures of stage or silent cinema, promising the audience something unlike anything they have ever seen before.
Lily and Millie wheel on a box, the kind of box used for the trick of cutting a lovely assistant in two.
But this one has been modified to fit them.
They present it to the audience.
Lily is enthusiastic, making happy and exciting gestures, hugging her sister and jokingly blessing herself.
Millie looks terrified.
The twins climb into the box.
The nearer they get from being enclosed, the more Lily is dragging her sister.
Eventually, the lid goes on.
We can see the girls' heads and feet.
Riley fetches a large saw and puts on an apron.
Riley jokingly checks the sharpness of the saw, pretending to prick his finger on it.
As Riley continues to talk to the audience, indicating the danger of what is about to happen, he begins to saw Lily and Millie apart.
The box bleeds.
The silence breaks as Millie screams a horrible scream.
She calls for G.
Georgina wakes up. What next?
The show must...
Move on. Forget. Keep going no matter what.
Not forget, no. There's nothing for us here. It won't be the same, but the story's the thing. And I still have those. We'll be alright. In these times, people will always want what we have to offer.
What's that?
Well, hope.
Hope. Hope.
We are suing the doctor. We are doing everything we can. Tiny and Marquita understand that. They know I never meant...
Stop talking. Please, stop. Not a townie. Can't sell me a line. And Lily?
Why don't you ask her? She's not talking just yet, but I thought maybe to you.
How long will you carry her for?
I don't intend on carrying her.
You don't think she can still show?
Perhaps. When she's feeling better, of course. I mean, one sister did survive. There might be something in that. Are you coming with us? To care for her?
No.
Are you sure that's wise?
Can't. Hate what you've become. Hate myself for helping. Future-proof. What a fool.
Where will you go?
Don't know.
What will you do? Remember, you said yourself, can't ever just be one thing or another.
That's still true.
It seems to me that you're acting rashly. I understand your anger, we all feel like that, but...
You don't. You feel nothing. You see us as belongings. Millie, even Tiny, Marquita, me. An extra pair of hands to light the fires and hammer the pegs and sweep the floors and mend the wagons and show my strangeness and maybe even write your lines. Never your equal. Never your colleague. Never your friend. Because you've become a stone-throwing townie. That's how you know what they want. And we've been infected by your way of seeing us. And by your narrow view of the world. And if I stay with you, I'll never know it for myself. If I stay with you, I'll become less and less myself. Until your vision is all there is to see. And won't the world be a greyer place for that? And won't we all just be shadows?
A greater place. I'm the only one who has ever seen your potential. With me, you have possibilities, but alone, like that, you'll always be a problem for them, a question they can't answer. A freak!
It's time to go! Boss, no point in this. Let it be. Take care.
Good luck, I guess.
You're on your own then. You know what that means.
It means I can be my own caller.
G takes Millie's hairbrush and scissors and cuts the long side of their hair, then places Millie's clip in it. They look around the remains of the camp and find a mixture of male and female clothing, something that is a combination of both. Slowly, deliberately, and with increasing confidence, G puts these clothes on. Then they pick up a bag and walk into the world.